Hey guys, we got some exciting news for you. If you're listening to this, we know that you're committed to upping your game in the arena. And we're teaming up with the Rodeo Now app to help you do just that. The Rodeo Now app allows you to record, upload, and catalog your rides and runs, review your performances in slow motion, and our favorite feature, if you're not familiar with your stock draw, you can search your animal by name to get all the intel you need to make your next ride a winning one. Join the rodeo revolution today and download the Rodeo Now app for free. It's available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Champion Living Podcast, the only podcast crossing the lines between the sport of rodeo and fitness. Today's episode, we have the one and only Courtney Morehead on to talk to us all about the Rodeo Now app, which we are super excited to talk about today. Even more excited to be partnering with you guys. Thanks for being on today. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Awesome. We are too. Boys, how are you?
We're good. We're living. I'm not as good as Paul. I didn't go fishing this morning. I went to the gym, but
hey, that's the same.
But we're
still a good start to the day.
Yeah, we're a good start, but we're living. We're good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here too and have Courtney on. It's so cool when like two worlds come together. You know, the first half of like my introduction to rodeo was the Moreheads. I mean, you know, first year on my permit, like all the years that they would let you be on a permit, I decided to use and
same, bro.
Pretty much spent them all at the Morehead Ranch for the most part, up there in the summertime and staying with Tim and rodeoing and down the street. So anyway, it's just so cool. And then really, I mean, haven't had a whole lot of contact outside of maybe seeing at an occasional rodeo or whatever. We haven't chatted a whole lot until just a couple weeks ago. And
I know this is great.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool.
That is awesome.
Same.
Let's fill everybody in on kind of your background, Courtney.
Sure.
Obviously, Logan's talking about Dave. I also have many stories about Dave, and he was great to us when we were on our permits as well. So kind of just fill us in a little bit on your background, how you grew up, and what got you into rodeo world.
I actually grew up in the rodeo world. My parents were stock contractors out east. They have Cowtown Rodeo out in Woodstown, New Jersey. And so I have been a part of it my whole life. And then here comes Three Hills Rodeo. They did some rodeos out east, and Jake and I met, and that kind of became history. My dad always said that he, raised and taught me everything I know just to go work with someone else. So he laughs about that. But that's, rodeo's been my entire life. I don't know anything different. So I can't imagine not being involved in it somehow.
That's super cool. And
yeah,
you guys, so you're living in Iowa now at the Three Hills Ranch, is that correct? Okay. And you guys are
Yes.
Are you and Jake doing most of the operations now?
We're partners with his parents, Dave and Marla. Yeah. We have a few irons in the fire around here besides rodeo. So we kind of each have our own, role that we play. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we stay busy. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's so cool to hear about. And you got little ones. You guys were just at junior rodeos this weekend, right?
Yep. Well, actually high school rodeos. Logan, if you can believe, my oldest Sam just turned 18.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to believe. I don't want to believe it. It means
I know, it's crazy. So I have Sam who's 18, Lily who is 16, and Cade who is 14. So yeah, we're in the midst of it all.
Very busy.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Very. And they are just as involved in the rodeo. I mean, they've always gone everywhere with us. They're a big part of what we do.
What events do they do?
Lily is barrel racing and breakaway roping, and my boys actually only shoot trap.
Smart.
Sam tried to, Sam tried to ride broncs and bulls for a little while, and that didn't pan out. He realized that maybe that just wasn't for him. And now he actually, he flanks and helps set up our pens for rodeos. And yeah, so he's taken on that role. And then Cade broke his arm. We used him in the opening one year when he was little in a bronc saddle on a steer, and he broke his arm, and that was it for him. He was not interested after that. So
Can't blame him.
yeah,
that's horrible. But
I
I guess
didn't
it's not funny. I guess it's not funny he broke his arm in the opening, but it's also kind of like, well, okay, well, there
Figured
you
it
go.
out
Now
real
you
quick.
know. You know what I'm saying? How many years did you save him? If somebody would have broke my arm in an opening when I was his age, how many years would it have saved him of trying to figure it out later on? You know
right?
what I'm
Logan, you would have
saying?
been like, let's break the other one. Let's do it again.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Nothing like calling in the EMTs the opening first, 10 minutes of the rodeo. That always is a great thing. So
haven't even begun the live action yet.
Man.
Oh, that's kind of that's funny, but also not.
So,
but
yeah,
it's great. It's great having the whole family involved. I love hearing about that, and you guys are
absolutely
working hard and obviously very busy, but getting it done together, and that is a cool culture to be a part of, and it kind of sets it up. You guys are winners at what you do, and that's something.
Thanks.
Yeah, heck yeah, we like to surround ourselves with people like that, and it's just it's cool to hear how behind the scenes works a little bit. A lot of people don't get to hear about the lives of stock contractors and how, what really happens and how much work really goes into doing everything, not to mention balancing a family on top of all that. It's a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Never a dull moment around here for sure.
I bet not. We've been talking about your guys' app a lot here recently, and we've actually, when it first came about, I know Logan downloaded it and was messing around with it, and we both kind of said to each other, this is so awesome, and it feels like a little bit of what we're doing. It's a little before its time. Like it needs a little time to catch up because I think it's going to be a game changer. Let's talk about Rodeo Now, the app, how it came to be, what your guys' thoughts were behind it, because as an athlete, I see the importance big time. And so initially I thought athletes created it, but in all reality, it was created by stock contractors, which is even cooler when I start looking at it that way. So why don't you just kind of fill us in on how this came to be and what you guys are doing?
So we raise our own bucking horses here in Iowa, and like we've always had the buck out, and or we dummy buck our colts, and we always have all these videos, and I'm the one that's storing them on my phone. And so then we get to a rodeo, someone would ask Jake and Dave about a horse, and they're like, go ask Courtney, she's got videos. They come over to me, I secretary in time, so I'm busy too, and they come over and they're like, Dave said you had a video of this horse, and I'm like, let me sort through my 8,500 videos and pictures on my phone and try to find this. And so that happens, forever, it seems like. And then Jake's wheels never stop spinning. So then he started coming up with this concept of being able to catalog or create profiles for each one of our horses, bulls, whatever. And then these videos would be stored and cataloged under that profile. And it kind of just steamrolled from there. We, I think it was circuit finals one year in November of 21, maybe 22. I can't even remember. And we spoke with, we have partners, and it's Jimmy and Adam Roth. And we were talking with Jimmy, and we're like, he's got connections, and we're like, do you know anybody that builds apps? Jake's got this idea. And then he was interested in it, and it just snowballed. Like by the end of that weekend, we had a name. By the first of that next year, we were already in development. Adam builds apps. And so it just sort of happened, and it happened really quick. And then we went live right before Vegas in 22. Okay. So it's been a journey, but it's actually, if I think about it that way, it's kind of moved pretty quickly. So it's been doing, and it's slow, and I shouldn't say it's slow. Our number, like it's very slow and steady as far as our numbers week over week, pretty much since we went live have been up like consistently. So
yeah,
We're proud of that.
I was almost surprised last night. I went and I was cruising through the feed there, and I filtered out just bull riding videos. And
Yeah.
I mean, from the last just 2 days, there was,
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't stop scrolling through the uploads until I found one that was outside of, yesterday and the day before.
Right.
So it seems like it's going really well, or it's catching on, like the athletes are using it at least.
Yes. When Jake and I, when the concept came about, we were just thinking of it selfishly, for us to keep track of our animals. And then it really turned into a tool for contestants, to keep track of their progress, keep track of their runs, rides, to be able to search stock, no more like word of mouth or trying to figure out who had this bull or horse last, or not knowing how to contact them, or scrolling through their social media feeds to find that video, or or whatever it may be. And it's turned into way more than we originally thought, which I love. So
you guys filled a huge void for a need, and that's where usually most great ideas and businesses come from. Is you guys needed the thing yourself, and then all of a sudden it comes to, wait, everyone needs this. Everyone can benefit from this. And now we have this app I'm looking through all the contractors right now on it. And there are a lot of guys, like companies on here, which is so cool. And to see all their videos. And like you said, and my biggest thing when I'm thinking about contractors is your young stuff, right? Especially the colts. Yeah. And I don't know about calves, how guys are about getting on calves. And it's not that guys don't want to get on colts. It's that there's a lot of things that can happen with a colt. And a lot of times you get to a certain point in your career, especially as a bareback rider, you're just done being a test dummy. And it's not that you don't want to give those young ones a chance, because good young ones can be great too, but taking someone's word on it is hard sometimes, I think, especially when they have one video, they've had one out or something like that. But if you have, all the way from, you have it from their beginning, probably from when they're dummied to their first 4 riders. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, no, this horse is figuring it out. We need to get someone on him that can help him and kind of show him off and give him some confidence, but also be a lot of points on him. And without those videos, I don't know, like Tim O'Connell or someone's going to draw that horse. And if there's no videos, they're going to be hesitant, right? I mean, Tim obviously knows you guys. And he'll be like, yeah, I'm coming. But I think there are so many guys out there that I've heard it so many times this year. Oh, you guys are a bunch of pussies. You just turn out all the young ones because you don't want to get on them. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily the case. This is just so much more of a business now that everyone's got to look out for everybody, including the contractors and the athletes. But for those guys that are kind of having a hard time making this change with everybody else, it's only going to elevate your business as a rodeo company.
Well, that's what we believe. I know we've run into a few, like contractors will be like, well, they just want their best videos on there. They want more of the highlight reel of their, their best stock. Where Jake and I are looking at it. Jake and I are looking at it from the standpoint where we're just trying to be transparent. We're trying to see, and even if you go over on stock stats, if you're going after and you're like, oh geez, this horse must have had a bad trip, they only marked him whatever. But then you can go back and watch the video and they're like, well, it rained 4 inches and the arena is muddy, or
the judge had a stroke.
They missed
or what I mean? The judge really didn't know what he was doing, because that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Yeah. That's what when I look at stock stats and I see a 16 and a 17, in my mind I go to like either crow hopping or just straight running, right? And sometimes I've seen some 16s and 17s that the judges have marked. And I'm like, there's no way that's a 16 and a 17. I would go get on that anywhere, because you can put 23s on it. Mm-hmm. You can place on that right there. Even, that's not really a true 17. So it gives you an opportunity to actually see what the animal is and not rely on a 73-year-old calf roper to tell you whether you should go get on the horse or not, in his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it takes that, because the judging is so objective that it takes that factor out of it, so you can just see it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that last night when I was scrolling through. The Burris family uploaded a couple, maybe 3 or 4 outs of some of their calves, and the guys that were on it, they looked like local mount out. So I'm assuming they were probably, turned out
Right.
during the rodeo, but they still got to put the videos on there. And so now you can see exactly
Right.
what it is. And so now if you draw a Burris calf, you don't have to just go, oh, great, it's a Burris calf. You can actually go look at it and say, okay,
See it.
this isn't actually a fire breathing dragon. I can go get on this thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's snowballed into so many things for us, and it's just become a tool for everyone. Even in the timed event categories, like as a secretary, I have to keep books of all the times for all the steers or calves or whatever. And like now, and they, the guys run up and they're like seeing what the time was on the last steer or whatever. Now, if there's videos, they could see for themselves. It's just makes things so much more, I don't know if transparent is the right word, but just easier for everyone. I mean, technology is like booming everywhere, so why shouldn't it in the rodeo world too, right? Like, just kind of makes sense, I think.
Yeah, and we're naturally slower to adopt those things in this sport, and it's just how we are. We're just
and we're so traditional, and it's just a traditional sport with it, but I think that there's room in here now for an app like this that could be extremely useful.
Absolutely. And it does a lot more than just tracking stock. For the athletes, you guys girls can put in your runs. You can document all of your runs. You can slow motion everything. Is that correct?
Yes, you can slow motion everything. And I think it's awesome I thought of when I was thinking of you guys, when you guys are training all these athletes, and especially like younger athletes that are coming up, and they can actually see what they're doing right, see what they're doing wrong, slow it down, see maybe where they need to place their feet, or, whatever the case may be. But it has, the slow motion feature was one of the first things that we wanted to include in the playback videos. So it's a great feature.
No, that's awesome.
I think that's invaluable for athletes reviewing rides themselves, or even looking at videos of other people that they look up to. Like, you can look at videos of your heroes now, and you can slow them down, and you can try and pick apart their technique and copy exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like, for younger athletes too, it's become kind of like a recruitment tool. Like, college coaches can go on there and they can see, kids. It gives them visibility outside of their social media reels, the highlight reels, just like see how kids are progressing over the years, or even if you wanted to attract some sponsors or whatever, it just makes it so much easier than fishing through social media, I believe, and getting all of the nonsense out of there.
Yeah, it's just a great way to catalog everything, no matter what you're doing in rodeo, whether you're an athlete, stock contractor, even just a horse trainer. Like, if you're a barrel horse trainer, a roping horse trainer, uploading all your horses that you're going to be selling and stuff, I think would be an easy way to use that.
Absolutely.
And then getting to have the slow motion again with all that.
Timed event contestants have the opportunity to also create profiles for their individual horses, and so their videos can also be cataloged that way. And then we have a for sale section.
I'm looking at it right now. I just pulled it up.
All the videos are already there. It just makes sense, and it's kind of your demographic to who you would possibly be selling to, as far even bucking horses to barrel horses to whatever. So
that's cool. When it says expired, does that mean that they've been sold, or the ad has gone
down? The ad has probably been expired. It runs for I think we have options. You caught me off. I think it's like 30 days or 60-day options to run your ad. So
cool. And I'm even seeing stuff like practice horses for sale. Like, that's so cool. I just had a guy reaching out to me, where can I find some quality practice horses? And I gave him a couple names, but this would be, if you guys are selling practice horses or anything like that, this is a great place to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So you kind of alluded to it earlier. Have you seen, you have to say that not everybody's a fan of transparency, right? And I would say that, have you guys gotten a lot of or much kickback from stock contractors? They're like, yeah, we're just not gonna do that because, you know, or whatever reason, or has everybody pretty well wanted to be on board?
We have gotten a little bit of kickback, just, you know, like I said, they want it to, they don't want to put a video on there of a horse running off or whatever. I mean, we've even gotten some feedback from contestants, like they don't want to post the videos of them getting bucked off. But I feel like that's rodeo, right? You don't ride every single horse, or you don't ride every single bull. And sometimes, for whatever reason, a horse has a bad trip. And I think that, you know, if you have all those videos posted, that would become obvious. Like, you know, if they have one bad trip out of 10 or 5 or whatever, I mean, obviously there's what were the conditions at that point, or, you know, what may have caused that. And I think that, like as a contestant, when you post your video, you can tag the stock contractor. So then that video would then be included under the animal's profile. The stock contractor gets a notification that says, like, Logan Corbett tagged a video of, you know, you on whatever horse, you know, how that works. So that all the videos are there. So I think that, I mean, in the rodeo world, it's just helping everyone. So then the next contestant that draws that horse or that bull or whatever can see, you know.
I want to speak to the contestants that are afraid of posting buck offs for a second, because I was watching the PBR World Finals over the weekend, and they, you know, one of the guys, I can't even remember who it was. That's how little it actually matters. But one of the guys at the World Finals, they said he had bucked off. He had ridden 2 out of his last 32. So if you can't handle the pressure of, like, your buck offs being public now, but you want to get to the top of the game where all of your rides are televised, how are you going to handle it then? Like, get over it, humble yourself a little bit, and don't be afraid to post buck offs. Like, nobody cares. Like, and eventually, if you do make it to the top of the game, like, every single time you get on, it's going to be televised and everybody's going to know. So, start.
I mean,
used to that pressure.
It's out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I mean, as stock contractors, sorry contestants, but we're videoing as well. So the video is going to be posted on our profile anyhow. So, I mean, I just think that it's unrealistic to constantly just post your highlight reel. It's not real, right? So
and it, even to like a mental standpoint, it's not benefiting you at all, because you're just sitting there ignoring all the things that went wrong and only posting the good things, when part of being a good ambassador for the sport is showing the whole picture, right? And that's what we have to do as athletes, and even as people that are coaching, or just, you know, whatever, contractors in the whole thing. It's showing everything and showing why we do what we do and how we overcome adversity. And especially if you're a rider, like, there is someone that is where you are, or is going to be where you are, and your experiences can help them. So sharing that stuff is really important, and you're only going to learn from it and get better from it. What about,
I mean, I feel like our end goal as far as contestant stock contractor is just constantly improve. And I mean, I feel like the only way to improve is to watch your progression in real time, you know, as it really happens. So
and I got a couple of things on the pushback stuff from the contractors. I think that's probably coming from guys that don't have great stock and aren't doing great things to improve it as any, you know, because I think in this world, it changed pretty quickly in the last 5 years, where you have to have a breeding program or a lot of money, you know, and if you're not, you're going to become obsolete pretty quick, because there's too many contractors out there putting a lot of time and effort and love into what they're doing, and it's showing in a big way. So I think it's just a matter of time before they're either gonna have to change, or they won't be around that much longer in the business. But what you're doing for the sport with this app is huge, and is anybody with growth mindset sees that, and people that don't, we don't care about them. But I did have
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I did have a question. So what if the contractor doesn't have a page set up? Can you still post their horses or bulls or cattle and still tag them?
Well, if they don't have a profile created, then you can still on your video name, like you can give the brand the name, and there's a notes section that you could say, what stock contractor this horse belongs to. You could say how much rein you gave this horse. You could say, there's a whole section in there for that. But this is kind of like where we're at. It's a double-edged sword. The contestants, want to use this for a tool to look at stock. And if the contractors aren't there posting the stock, and it's like the stock contractors aren't there because the contestants, that population is growing on the app, but then the contestants aren't there because the stock it's like this, we keep going back and forth. And the more we post, the more, useful this app is going to be.
Absolutely.
And it's free for everyone. So I've talked to a lot of contractors. I've gotten to the point where I'm just kind of calling them and saying, hey, you guys need to check this out. This has been so great for us at Three Hills. It takes a minute to create those profiles for all your animals, but once you do, takes seconds to upload the videos, and it saves so much time at the end of the year when I'm looking for videos for like NFR nominations or circuit finals stuff. And it makes that nomination process for the NFR can be very time consuming. And now all my videos are literally at my fingertips, and I can do everything in 30 minutes. Easy.
Yeah. And I've obviously never been a part of one of those selection calls, but I've been in the room with guys on the selection calls, and it is freaking chaos. Like absolute chaos, because you've got 15 guys going through hundreds of horses, and they're picking each pin, and they're going off of one guy saying, oh, I got on that. That was awesome. 5 guys have never seen it before. 3 guys have saw it but never been on it before. And the one guy is gung-ho about it coming. And they eventually just get so tired of arguing. They're like, fine, whatever, bring it. But this could fix all of that. This can make it so easy.
Yeah.
They sit down on this. They all have the app open. All right, here's the list we're going through today. Boom. Everyone's looking at it together saying, yes, no, whatever it is, a maybe, alternate. I don't know. It makes it so simple. It makes this whole game so simple, but as cowboy and rodeo athletes,
well, and you can see
we like to make things hard.
Yeah. Sometimes it does seem like that, but I feel like you have an opportunity to see the consistency in the horses or the bulls, as opposed to they had one awesome trip somewhere and maybe, not so much anywhere else or whatever. Again, it's like the transparency thing, and it's just easy. Maybe it'll make those calls a lot more efficient and not, not so messy. I guess.
Well, speaking of that selection process, like the compounding effect over years, like that's going to get better and better and easier. And the stock that actually deserves to be at the finals will be at the finals. And it might even, raise their, their price or whatever, like, for selling later on after they've been nominated and made multiple finals appearances. And, that this could be a profitable thing for stock contractors down the road.
Sure.
Obviously it's going to take, kind of a few years of learning on the contestant and stock contractor side of like learning how to navigate that and use it to its, its full potential. But
sure.
Yeah, I see that just getting better and better each year.
I hope so. A lot of the contractors that I've spoken to on the phone, that's like the first question they ask. They're like, is this super helpful for NFR? And I'm like, oh yeah. For sure.
It just makes it so easy. I'm like going through the contractors right now, and there's like some of the biggest in the game don't have an account, and it kind of blows my mind a little bit. And in today's world, the contractors usually aren't doing the posting themselves. They have a secretary or someone doing that, right? Like you are taking over that. I know surveys have someone else doing that. I know it's a no excuse kind of thing now. Right. You guys are not wearing all the hats. You don't have to, which is cool. Use these tools, help your business grow. Like this is only going to help. And even like going to committees, you're trying to get rodeos, being able to show your stock and show, you're top end, but here's our B team. And look, they're pretty damn good too. We're going to get guys to show up for this rodeo. Selling points, all part of the business for rodeo and contractors. So this app is man, it's so cool. I'm so fired up about it. And it makes me just want to call all my contractor friends and be like, why don't you have this yet? Let's go figure this out.
Well, that's what I keep telling some of our contestants. I'm like, you guys, when you go to your next rodeo, ask them, like, why aren't you using this? Just put a little pressure on. Maybe we'll get some more to jump on here, and then it's just going to help everyone else too.
It's just a matter of time at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? There's the ones that are going to hold out the latest. They're really just doing themselves a disservice at this point. It's not. I don't think that it's a question of if they will get on. It's just when. Because this is the direction that we're moving in, and they're going to get to a spot where, horses are getting turned out because they're not on the app. Listen to if you were on the app, I'd come get on it. If I could see videos of it, and I would come get on it. And so it's going to force guys to be on the app as stock contractors. It's going to force you to, hey, whether you like it or not, this is the direction that we're moving. And so anyway, I think it's just a matter of when, and hopefully sooner as opposed to later. For those of you, not that we have a plethora of stock contractors that regularly listen, but if you are listening, download now.
I hope so.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
They are.
And anyone, it's free. For contestants, for stock contractors, and even rodeo fans, when you download the app, it'll ask you how you want to create your profile. And so
what does it do for fans? Like, if you click fans, what does that look like for you?
You're as a fan, you're unable to upload videos, but you can, you have access to the feed, and you can watch whomever is on the app, and you have the opportunity to follow contestants or stock contractors.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Tim O'Connell, for instance, if someone wants to follow him, they can do that. And so then they get a notification on their phone every single time he uploads a video. So it's super cool for family too. That maybe they're trying to follow their son or niece or nephew or whomever. And, it's when they're hitting 3 or 4 rodeos a weekend. This is an easy way to see their rides.
Absolutely.
So, and runs. Yeah.
Yeah, parents, grandparents, family, like instead of having to go sift through all the way through social media and maybe find it, being able to have it just directly there and super easy is convenience. This is great for everybody.
We've been really encouraging, you can get on the app, and of course you can use the filters so you can see and watch only what you want to. But we've also been really trying to be involved in like the high school rodeo and college levels, just to make it a habit of posting now, and watching your progress. And then when you get to the pro level, it's just a second nature for you to use this tool to use the tool for, so there's a lot of young high school athletes on there. We actually have a team that we call our junior pros, and they are doing really well. And it's exciting I love watching that. So
heck yeah. No, that is how we change the culture. Right there is the future of the sport, the next generation coming up, because they are going to determine what everything looks like. And we talk about this all the time with fitness. When it comes to elite athletes, we've worked with a lot of elite athletes and a lot of the guys and girls that are some of the best in the world currently. And we aren't really getting any more of them, meaning like we've been doing this for almost 5 years. Those people, they found us after they had already been doing the sport a long time. We got to help them. It was awesome, but they're kind of set in their ways on how they do things, which is great. But we start working with younger kids, making it normal to train regularly, even on the road. And again, that'll look a lot different than when you're at home in the gym, but creating that foundation of this is what it looks like to be a professional rodeo athlete, and training year round is part of that, because you have to, in order to maintain the level of performance that you have to be elite. And it's only that level is only going up, so
it is.
You have to.
So true.
This younger generation is definitely what's going to be moving these things forward for us and making them the norm, right? And helping these awesome tools that are out there actually get used to their best of their ability. Hui has the best gear because it's tough, it's durable, it withstands the test of what we put it through. And that is why I am a big supporter of Hui brands. Guys, from hats, apparel, whatever you need, they've got you covered. They are the perfect blend of rodeo style and athletic performance. You can check them out at huibrands.com. Use our discount code ChampionLiving, all one word, is going to save you a little bit at checkout. Here's the deal. Lots of rodeo gear companies are coming out, but not all are equal. Beastmaster is really setting the bar when it comes to the equipment that is built for durability and designed for success in the arena. You guys can check them out at beastmasterrodeo.com. Use our discount code ChampionLiving24. That's ChampionLiving24. Going to save you a little bit at checkout. Like talking about youth, people coming up, you've obviously seen some of these world-class athletes come through the ranch, starting as younger athletes and moving on. Were you guys part of his evolution, or how did Tim become into the family?
We had a little bit of something in there, I think. Tim's family and the Morehead family go back a long time. They've been family friends forever. So that's where that all started. But I can remember when Tim was high school rodeoing, and his days were a little rough there. And when he decided to be a bareback rider, in fact, I was going through pictures not very long ago, like old pictures. And I think I have some pictures of him. He looked like a baby. He looked so young, and he was just starting to ride bareback horses. So it's fun to watch. I mean, now he's who he is now. Yeah. I mean, it's a very cool to see that. So I know he worked really hard at it.
Yeah. And maybe just for some younger athletes listening, coming from a different perspective of not being an athlete, you got to watch, what are some, characteristics you see in these guys or girls that, when they start, it may have been rough? Because I love that you said that, because everyone sees the end game. They see him, I think he's won the world 3 times, maybe more, but that's all they see. Yeah. They don't see how he started, and that it wasn't just easy for him, and it's not easy for anybody. So what are some of the qualities that you see in those types of people as they're starting and progressing? What makes them so great?
Well, I think Tim had quite a few hang-ups in high school. It could be a little rough to watch. And I think he just had the determination and the grit. And, you have to have that mental fortitude to say, whatever happens, whatever the case is, I'm doing this. I'm going to make this happen in some way. I'm going to, soak in all the help, all the advice, all this, get on as many things as I can, put yourself in positions to have those kinds of opportunities, not be afraid to travel, not be afraid to, when we used to do the buck out, and there was guys that would come and get on one horse. And then you have guys that'll come on and get on 6, 8 head all in the same day, and then show up and do it again the next day. I mean, there's just a difference that you can see in someone that has that mental strength to push through. Yeah.
Determination.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that example of guys getting on 1 and guys getting on 6 or 7. We talk about that a lot because there's nothing that replaces doing the thing, especially when you're learning. You have to do the thing to get better at it. Yes, you have to do all the other things, like getting strong enough to be able to compete, to do it. There's a lot of things you have to do, but a lot of guys weigh heavily on everything but the live action, and they wonder why they're not getting better at it. And in rough stock sports, you got to have grit, and you got to be determined, and it's going to suck for the first probably 100 head to get on, and that's just part of it. But if you take advantage of these resources out there, like our Optimal Performance Academies, buckouts that contractors are doing in good settings like you guys are, I'm sure, those are so important for the sport and for these athletes. And going and learning the correct way and getting the opportunity to get reps in is priceless when it comes to the beginning of your career, and getting those reps in a good environment is.
I just never could imagine driving however many hours to get on one horse and then being like, oh, okay, I feel good. I'm good. You're here.
Yeah, let's go.
We have an unlimited amount of horses to get on. Let's do this. But I mean, I think that's the difference. Yeah.
And that's okay too. If you're not, you get there and it's not for you. And I love, in the beginning, we were talking about
for sure
your kids and how they're not riding rough stock. They have every opportunity if they wanted to, but they don't. And that's awesome. But because they're really good at other things as well, like flanking horses, like helping in the arena.
Yeah.
There's so many other ways you can get involved in rodeo, and it doesn't just have to be riding bucking horses or bulls, right? And I think that's where a lot of guys, they want to be a part of the sport so bad. They want to be a cowboy so bad, and they didn't come from that, and their only entrance in is a bull riding school or a horse riding school, which is great. Come get your introduction. But if you get there and you figure out really quickly that it's not for you, that's cool. Talk to someone.
Yeah.
There. How else can I be a part of this? And we've had I forgot who we had. It was a kid at I think it was one of Serbia's schools, but I could just tell it was eating him up. Scared to death. Like, did not want to be there. But he wanted to be a part of it. So I taught him how to run neck ropes and open gates. And that kid did that for 2 days straight and loved it. Like, ate it up. It's like, there's so, you can still be a cowboy and be a part of it. There's so many things that we all, we need help with everything in the sport. We need shoot help. We need flank men. We need everything. So I thought that was a really cool point to bring up.
I'm fairly confident that my boys could go work for any other rodeo contractor and be pretty helpful, in the back pen, sorting, pull and shoot gates, whatever the case may be. And I'm fine. That's great. I mean, because that's what we do. So hopefully they'll continue to follow in our footsteps someday. So
that's awesome. And for any young people out there, I know there's a lot of contractors. I don't know if you guys do the summer deals, but I know a lot of guys in the summer are hiring for people to come help them, come get on the road. And, Logan was talking about working for you guys. I worked for Sammy Andrews when I was in college. And I just reached out and I wanted a place to go and be around it and be soaked up in rodeo and learn about everything from taking care of the horses, loading them, traveling with them, like how it all works. It only makes you a better athlete being around it more. And so, and he made me a deal. He loaded up the same horse. You remember Dakota Gold, Logan, that little buckskin paint that Sammy had? He sweetheart in a circle. He loaded that horse up for me every single perf for 2 months straight. And I got on that horse every day. And I was entered one day, so I draw whatever I drew, but every other day I got to get on that one. And that changed my whole career. Changed everything for me because I sucked that first month, dude. I was still not good, but it just took that getting on. And then at the rodeos, I was surrounded by other guys that were, entered, and Chris Harris was one of them. I'd see him at every rodeo, and he was someone who sewed into me a lot. And by the end of that summer, my riding was different. I was different as an athlete because of the reps that I was putting in. I'd done everything. I'd worked out. I'd get on a spur board all day, every day. I hadn't put the time in and getting on as many horses as I could, and mostly because I didn't have the availability to that many. But I knew that had to change, so I called Sammy because he did the first school we ever went to, and I was like, I need a summer job and I want a rodeo. Perfect. Come to the ranch. Let's go. We leave this day. Perfect. I was there. Go ahead.
There's no rodeo. Yeah, there's no contractor out there that is going to say, we've got, actually it's okay. We have plenty of bareback riders. You know what I'm saying? They all need bareback riders. And so if you're willing to work hard, it's hard work, but if you're willing to work hard and you just need reps, going and working for a stock contractor that has good horses like Three Hills is a great opportunity to get some reps in the summertime, in which you don't have to spend as much money as you would if you were just trying to figure it out on my own. I'm just entering here and there, and I'm trying to go and get on, where you could go work and you could get on one. The chances are they would, even if you're not at a spot where you could enter, you could probably mount out every perf. They could bring something for you. You could work. There's a lot of contractors that would, I'm hopefully not putting words in Courtney's mouth, but there's a lot of contractors out there that would do that kind of thing. And I know that is one way, like Doug said, just to get the reps in. That's what you need. Is you just need to nod. Once you have the fundamentals down and it's muscle memory, your fundamentals are perfect on the spur board, it's time to go to the arena, and you just got to keep nodding your head, nod your head until it starts to click.
Absolutely. We would never turn down someone that was interested in getting on bucking horses at any of our rodeos. So, we always try to make that work and try to help out as much as we can, because it's just helping the entire sport as a whole. So, for sure.
Absolutely. And any of you guys that are on your permits, are you guys in Great Lakes?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great circuit to go in the summertime. Get on great horses, tons of rodeos, awesome committees. Like those are some of my favorite memories from the summer up there at your guys' rodeos. And Three Hills, the Moreheads always take care of bareback riders. You guys have been always great to us. And
we try.
I remember, I forgot where we were. We were in Edgewood, and then we had Manawa like a week later or something like that. And Dave came up I was with Evan Jane and JJ Alley, and he's like, "You're the only three in that matinee perf. Don't you dare turn out. I will make it worth your day. I promise it'll be worth showing up." And we're like, "All right, we'll be there." And so we drove all night from Dickinson, North Dakota for the 12 o'clock perf. We got in at 11 a.m., literally no sleep, grabbed our stuff and walked over. And we had like peaches and cream and do-si-do or so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, just the nuts. It was awesome. It was like one of my favorite memories of rodeo ever was that rodeo. But
very cool.
Yeah, anyone on your permit, go check it out. We have the Rodeo Now app linked into our show notes here. You guys can go click that, go download the app. It's free to download for anyone. Go get it downloaded.
Yep.
Everyone helps everyone here. If one person uses it, it doesn't really help, but if we can all start jumping on there and making this the community for finding really anything you need when it comes to rodeo livestock, let's do it. This is a game changer. Courtney, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been awesome catching up and kind of hearing just a little different perspective than the athletes that we usually get to talk to. I love hearing about behind the scenes and kind of what the contracting life looks like.
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Boys, you got anything to finish this up?
No, that's good. It's changing the game. If you don't have the app, you need it. You're behind. Get it.
You are behind. All right, guys. Until next time. We'll catch you later.